going to call Tiki Brown forward. She is the Commissioner of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and we know there's been some news over the weekend that many of you are interested in. She has a brief statement to share, and then we can take questions from you. So Tiki, if you want to come on camera and open your mic, we'll get you spotlighted for everybody.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all today. My name is Tiki Brown. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. And just making sure the spotlight is working.
It is.
We're good? Okay, excellent. All right. So again, thank you for joining today and allowing me the opportunity to join this press conference. We are aware of a video that's being circulated that has gained local and national attention about childcare centers in Minnesota. While we have questions about some of the methods that were used in the video, we do take the concerns that the video raises about fraud very seriously. Each of the facilities mentioned in the video has been visited at least once in the last 6 months as part of our typical licensing process. And in fact, our staff are out in the community today to visit each of these sites again so that we can look into the concerns that were raised in the video. At the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, we care about making sure that every dollar of the Child Care Assistance Program and other programs is going where it's supposed to be going and used as intended. We have no tolerance for fraud, and we're committed to doing everything we can to investigate allegations and quickly respond to issues. Minnesota has a robust system for childcare licensing and program integrity. We have made significant improvements to the process in 2018, again in 2019, and continue to evolve our efforts. We also know that fraudsters are also evolving their tactics, and so we are on a continuous improvement process to ensure that we are aware of those methods and are addressing needs and concerns that are raised. All Minnesotans, community members, local business owners, center employees, parents, concerned citizens can submit a tip to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families if they suspect fraud. Information about reporting fraud can be found on our website at dcyf.mn.gov/report-fraud. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions that folks have.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Brown. So we'll start out with Lou Raguse at Care 11. Lou, what's your question?
Thanks for taking my question. So if these places were visited in the last 6 months, were those unannounced visits or were they announced and even scheduled in advance?
Great question. So all child care centers in Minnesota receive one annual visit from the Department of Children, Youth, and Families from our licensors, and these visits are unannounced in order to best evaluate the center's normal operations. These visits generally focus on licensing standards to ensure that the children in the center are safe and well cared for. And if there are any program integrity concerns, then these are also reported by our licensors and evaluated to determine additional investigations that need to occur.
So then just as a follow-up, when these particular ones from the video were visited, were there children there?
There were.
Thanks for the question, Lou, and the answers. Commissioner, let's go to Ryan at KSTP.
Given your response to Lou right there, you said there were children present at each one of these unannounced visits. I mean, the number of kids present, did it match what your records show? Can you elaborate a little bit on, is there an inconsistency of what we see in this video? And do you dispute what this video is saying?
Sure, I can elaborate a little. So we do have, as part of our licensing regulations, we do have the number of children that are available and able to be at centers, and our teams do match against who we will see in the visits on any given day that they visit. We are also aware that children may be out, due to illnesses, et cetera, and so there are some variances that occur. I think with the video, what we certainly saw is, I think we have questions around when were these visits, when were the videos taken? For instance, were they during times that the center was scheduled to be open? Was it during the weekend? I think there's some clarity and questions that we'd like a little bit of, additional information on, which is why our teams are out today, making additional unannounced visits to, again, confirm, are there children in these childcare centers, and gathering additional information from these centers so that we can answer any of the concerns that were raised in these videos.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's go again to Quinn and KTTC in Rochester. Quinn.
Hi, Commissioner. It appears that the Department of Homeland Security is visiting some of these facilities today. I'm wondering if you could just comment on, whether DCYF or any other state agencies, as far as you're aware, are cooperating with or working with, I guess, those federal investigators, and any other comments you have on that.
You were a little hard to hear, but I think what I heard is it appears that there's some federal visits that are occurring, and if there's some cooperation between state agencies.
Sorry, let me see if I can get a little closer to the mic here. Any comment on the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, sort of working and visiting some of these facilities today?
So I'm not aware of any operation that is occurring from the Department of Homeland Security. Certainly, I may not be up to date on my emails, but I don't believe that we were informed, of that operation. We will certainly look into that and see, what more we can learn about that. But to my knowledge, I don't have any information that has been shared with us from Homeland Security about any operation that they're conducting with these childcare centers.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Jeff at the Star Tribune, go ahead with your question. And then we'll probably have to finish up with Ken after Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff. Jeff, we can't hear you.
Yep, I got a two-parter. So first off, has the state, as response to the video, paused payments or planning to pause payments to any of these 10 or so centers that were named in Nick Shirley's report? And number two, had the department previously, before this video was released, had it ever identified or flagged any of these centers as concerning in terms of, signs for fraud? Had you paused payments or withheld payments or denied reimbursement claims because of questions about, whether these were fraudulent or, in some kind of improper request for money? Sure.
So we don't, for the current childcare centers that have been named in the video, we have not paused. There isn't a current pause on any of their payments. They are, those continue to move forward. As we gain more information from the folks that are out visiting today and gathering additional information, that may change. But currently, there is no pause on any of those individual centers. Several of these centers have been evaluated for program integrity in past several years. Some of them have been operated for a number of years. One of the centers, Quality Learning Center, closed just over a week ago. I think another one that was mentioned had closed maybe even several years ago. So there have been ongoing investigations with several of those centers. None of those investigations uncovered findings of fraud. So that's where they currently stand. I will say, regardless of past findings, our team is just committed to making sure that we address any of the concerns that currently have appeared with the video, and that's why we are committed to working today to gather information and to assess and analyze additional information for those centers that were identified.
Thanks, Commissioner. Ken Bensinger at the New York Times. Go ahead with your question.
Hello, Commissioner. Thanks for this time. My question sort of comes off the last one, which is I noticed looking at some of these that there at least in some cases have been investigations of other kinds of issues that are non-fraud related. I know from personal experience with my own children that sometimes childcare places have these kinds of investigations. It's not uncommon. Would any of those kinds of violations lead to children not being there, for example? Is there kind of violation that would lead to temporary shutdown or otherwise interruption of their normal business practices? And also, separate part of that question is you mentioned Quality Learning Center and another one having closed down. Can you tell us a little bit more about why they were closed down?
Sure. So to your first question, I think you were asking if there are any type of licensing infractions that might cause a temporary closure or a portion of the children not, being available at the center. None to my knowledge, and that's, I will acknowledge I don't have full understanding of some of the nuances there, but for the childcare centers that were named and that are being visited today, there is no current action that would limit the children, that they are licensed to provide services to. So that's part one. I think for part two, you might have to repeat it again. I'm sorry.
That's no problem. You had mentioned Quality Learning Center having shut down a week ago, and a separate one, which you didn't name specifically from, I guess, the video that had closed down earlier this year. Can you provide us some more color on what the motivations were for closing those two facilities down?
So I don't, so I will say we generally don't disclose information if we have a current open investigation. That's, in order to preserve the integrity of the information that needs to be gathered. So I won't go into any detail about whether or not any of these have any open investigations. I will share that our team was notified that Quality Learning Center closed just over a week ago. And I believe the details that were given at that time were around space concerns. And that's what was shared. The previous one I mentioned that had been closed some time ago was Mako, M-A-K-O.
M-A-K-O. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and you went a little overtime. We appreciate that to answer those questions.